whenever I've gone into handstand, it's like, all right, how long will I be here this time? Like, it's never been like, I'm going to hold this.
We might want to sort of cartwheel into a handstand like that.
Oh my God.
And drive. Excellent. Okay, so I assume that feels kind of okay now?
Yeah, it was fine.
All right,
so
good.
Much easier.
All right, cool. Do they sort of feel...
It feels so much easier. I feel like I can actually like program them in now.
So I'm basically just tapping the legs.
That was so much better. Like I feel a lot more stable in it. Like even when we did that last one there, I was like, oh, I'm not needing any help for this bit, and then I'd fall asleep bit, and then I'd need a bit of guidance. But it was so much. I feel a lot stronger in my handstand, and I feel like with just doing that more, I'll be able to hold it.
Hi guys, this is Felix from SS1 Performance. This is Lauren. Lauren is a dancer, and I think you've got quite a sort of a long history of pretty impressive, you know, acrobatic style movements.
Yeah.
So I think today we've got a few different things that you want to try and do that have been on your list for a while.
Yeah.
So do you want to just explain a little bit about what the specifics of your sort of history of training and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
So I'm a musical theatre performer, but I've grown up sort of doing like acro and literally everything under the sun basically. So I've done like acro, swimming, gymnastics, all of it. But my mobility, obviously, my mobility is fine. I'm hypermobile, like it's all good.
Sure.
But in terms of like holding like a handstand and like stuff like that, I can't quite do that because I'm so like my back will just I'll go into a walkover. So I just kind of want to work on sort of being able to like engage my core more so in like a handstand and being able to hold that instead of just falling out a bit.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you find that if you're trying to hold more like static positions, basically,
it's
that
like
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So hypermobility, so you're very strong, very explosive, very mobile, but then the static holds.
Yeah, literally, I'm like, nah, this isn't happening.
Okay, fine. All right, so I think the idea was today is to do handstands, all right, so that's number one.
Handstands, yeah, absolutely.
And then it's also pistol squat,
Pistol
is that?
squats, yeah, I want to sort of work on, like, as I've mentioned, like my mobility is like fine and like that thing, I can like whack my leg up.
Yeah.
But in terms of like controlling it, sort of thing,
Okay.
I'm not good at that, and I kind of want to work on controlling and just strengthening up as well.
Okay, general strength on the pistol squats.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's like two targets that we've got for today then. Okay, cool. Today, because we don't have someone recording us, I'm going to be recording you, okay, and like analysing your patterns of motion.
Cool.
And then I'll be kind of talking through what I'm seeing, and then we'll just build it out bit by bit.
Amazing.
Okay. All right. So first of all, I think what we need to do is if we can just do 10 squats, like 2 regular old squats, and then 10 squats after that with the overhead position. Okay. So obviously you know how to squat. I knew that already, but still good to see everything going. Cool. And your abs remain engaged during your overheads. If you can extend the arms up a bit higher as you go down. Good. Okay, that's great. In terms of a pistol squat now, what would yours look like? Would you do it full at all, or is it like you go halfway down and then...
I think I could get down.
Right,
it's
okay.
getting back up that's kind of like...
Right. Okay, so because you're like a, you know, pretty athletic, I just want you to do 1 pistol squat. And then I want to see how much of a pistol squat we have at the moment. Okay. And then we're going to build it up from there, okay? Good.
My left seems to be better, I don't know why.
No, that's pretty good. Like, I'm quite happy with that. Do the other side now.
This side.
Yeah, okay, cool.
It's not good.
So let's just see that one more time. And the other side again. Excellent, okay. And then let's see that one more time again and try and look past where I am and just kind of look at the mirror. And then we're just going to look from here. Oh. So Lauren's obviously strong enough to do proper pistol squats, but there's just little marginal things that can be improved upon. And usually what happens is, like with most squats, is that when you're changing direction, that's the point where you're losing, you know, a little bit of balance. So what we need to do is we need to normalize your low position on the pistol squat and then see if we can kind of like improve certain elements to that, so that you can almost do like an overhead pistol squat today, whilst maybe even holding one of the bars. Okay, yeah. So we want to get, so what we've got is we've got someone who can kind of do it, but we actually want to get you way further than you expect you can go. Yeah. You can kind of see, that is the thing that we need to be able to do.
Yeah, that.
Okay, so this position here, right, I want you to basically move from here to here, okay, and look at the way, if you look in the mirror, you see my weight. So I shift my right hip over my ankle, ever so slightly inwards, probably about 70% in, and then extend. And then because you're a dancer, I'm sure you can point your toes without causing a cramp. So we need to normalize this position. Good. And then back again. Excellent. Very nice. Okay, keep it going. Hold position. Go back to 2 legs again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Okay, I want to try and do another on the lift the right leg up. Good. And then keep on going. Good. Hold position again. Readjusting. Okay, one more time. And last one. Good. Okay. If we've got 2 legs like that and they're both converging against each other, then it creates like a balance point, because like mechanically your hips are being driven to the center. But if I've only got 1 foot like that, I'm actually being driven off my center. So in this case, it's probably better that we start with the single leg like dead straight. Okay, and then that one's dead straight as well. Otherwise, you've got to deal with rotation as well. Right now, you're stuck in this one position. Like if you break out of it, then you're kind of stuffed. Because your whole squat is fine. So all we're doing is we're just taking the weakest part of it and we're just making it as strong as possible. So your mission is to have the hands out like this, okay? Then you lift onto one leg, straighten the other leg, and then you raise your hands up into the overhead position, bring them down again. There we go. So this is now the challenge, all right? So now, first of all, do the overhead position. So raise up and bring them down again. Good. Do that 3 or 4 times. Now try to go on your stronger leg. Okay. Get lots of weight on the midfoot. Look forward. Raise the arms up. Breathe. There we go. Good. Right, cool. So we've got about 3 seconds there. Okay, we need to go back onto the other leg again. And then we're going to normalize this, and then it's going to start getting a lot easier, basically, to get these squats done. Okay, so switch to the other leg now. Okay, hold position. Raise the arms up. Breathe. Bring the arms down, and bring the leg down. Good.
Why was that easier?
When you're down there, if we can test the muscles to a point, but then get you to breathe deeply, tell the nervous system that actually this is a position which isn't like particularly threatening, because you've got like the strength to do it. So it's kind of like almost like using a sort of meditative sort of yoga style to normalize this position. So what we're going to try and do now is we're going to try and hold that position and breathe through it, okay, with the arms above the head. And what that's going to do is it's going to make the arms above the head is a more advanced position than you're used to anyway. Yeah. Okay, so the more we do that, the more we hold that position, the more we breathe through it, the more relaxed you'll be in that position, and therefore the harder you can exert force from that position. Okay. Okay, lift the leg up, lift the arms, long deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Make it somewhat audible to at least yourself, so you can kind of just hear. Good. And then when you feel the pressure build up, just slowly ease out of position. Excellent. Good. Okay, same thing again. So it's probably about 3 long deep breaths. Good. Excellent. Perfect. And one more. And then slowly come out of position. Excellent. Basically what we did there is we just tried to strengthen something, but also make it, it's not like you're not strong enough, it's just the familiarity, the muscles were at a certain length, some muscles were not particularly aware of what to do, if you kind of look at it that way. Yeah. So what we then told them is that it's not a hazardous position, we've got a position which you're strong enough to hold, and all that had to happen is certain muscles needed to sort of change length, certain muscles needed to sort of release a bit more, other muscles needed to kind of tense up more. So you're going to just put the hands wherever, you're going to drop down like this, come up again, just try and keep it all very relaxed, drop down like this, come up again, just keep it very chilled, and then we're going to raise the arms up even higher. Again, you can tap the floor if you need, and then eventually we're going to start finding that this whole movement is like very easy. Good. And let's do, try another one, try another set of 4, because then I'm going to do a glute release.
Okay.
Okay, and then basically we're going to see if the glute medius might be a little bit tight. So we're just going to do a few mobility things afterwards, but try to do 4 overheads. Okay. So see if you can kind of get, yeah, this is obviously like the harder version. Yes, that looks great. Perfect. Drive, drive, drive. And that actually looks even better. So, excellent. Good. Okay, and last one. Excellent. We're going to just do an elbow release on your glute medius on the right leg. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll just see if is your perception that that right leg pistol squat feels a bit better. So if you can imagine the muscle kind of around like the glute here, if that muscle doesn't release, then you're obviously going to be sort of like pushed forward. So rather than the hip coming back, the glute's going to be like, no, I'm done with this. So you can just bugger off. Yeah. And then it throws you off center. So if we do this release now, in theory, we might get a slightly better result on the right leg, but I'm not going to do anything to the left. So we're doing a glute release on the right leg. So with your heel, when I say so, just rotate like this. Okay. Okay, and do it very slowly. Okay. That's in and that's out. Okay. I know that sounds obvious now, but when I say out, no one seems to know what I'm talking about. Yeah, no. Okay, so just kind of like release tension from the body a little bit. All right, so I'm going to come in through here. Okay, and then I'm going to go in through here. Is that intense or is that sort of all right? That's all right. Okay, so start moving the right leg in and out. Right, okay, so believe it or not, you're not actually moving it out. You're only moving it in. Really? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Is that, what does that feel like? It just feels like I'm going just a bit further. That's a bit more now. Now what I need you to do is roll to your side, facing this way. Okay, and then basically put this knee here, okay, like that. And then all I'm going to do is come through on this area here, and then just tell me if you can feel any kind of like tension in here. Is that feeling all right? Yeah, that feels fine. Good. And then around here? A little bit more. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to try and let a little bit of a release through here. So just long deep breaths. Yeah, so that's usually where we're going to find stuff which you might not find from like a normal glute release. So we just have to, if you think about what we're doing, we're sort of repositioning the muscle under a stretch, and then that's pretty tight, yeah? Yeah, so just a little movement, and then use your hand to stabilize yourself. So that's just that last bit of the release. I assume that feels like that was pretty tight in there. Yeah, that's really tight. Okay. First of all, do one pistol squat on the left leg. Okay. Okay. So we're just going to see just a regular one and just see what that looks like. Excellent. Good. And then try the right. Keep in mind the right will feel a bit odd because we've just released the muscles now. So kick the heel out a little bit. Out a bit. There we go. Good. Now think about how your weight needs to be. If you look in the mirror, you'll see what symmetry is. Okay, so think about your hips, where the hips need to go, where your body needs to go to create symmetry over that point. Okay, let's go. Excellent, good. Okay, right, same again, overhead, and then let's see what you've got. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, good. So the overheads on both looks really good. Let me see one more time. This time I want you to go down and pause and breathe. Okay. So you can, this is the last bit we'll do on pistol squats, because obviously now it's a question of practice, but now you know how to you know what position you need to work on to get these pistol squats really good. And you know the technique, the breathing pattern to normalize it. So, yeah, exactly. Overhead or? Just do regular ones, but take like 3 long deep breaths. So if you go down, remember if you go down too quick, then you'll obviously it's harder to like hold the position. So try the left leg first. Okay. All right. Okay, long deep breaths. Good. Excellent. Okay. Nice, yeah, so whenever you do the right leg, when you practice these, you'll have to reposition your heel consciously, otherwise it will be driven inwards, your knee will be driven outwards, and it will be harder to do it. down the line you can position it however you want and you'll still balance, but for the moment just always remember to straighten it. And drive. Excellent. Okay, so I assume that feels kind of okay now?
Yeah, it was fine.
All right, good. All right, cool. So that's the pistol squats kind of sorted.
Yeah.
Do they sort of feel...
It feels so much easier. I feel like I can actually like program them in there.
Right.
Just kind of trying it here and there.
Yeah, maybe 2 weeks. I would try to practice that breathing pattern. Keep in mind that what we did on the glutes, if you're having trouble with one leg and not the other, then just do like a glute medius stretch. Okay. Just stretch for 30 seconds, or do some rolling on the right glute. So that should be fine. And then once you've done a couple of weeks of like the steady breathing, then yeah, you can just build them in. Yeah. And then if you film me for a second, like the way I would do pistol squats would be, if I was doing more kind of CrossFit style, it's basically just 1, 2, like that, and you kind of swing your arms up and down. And then if you've got a weight, you just do a goblet position like this, where you're just holding the weight like that, so it's a little bit more static. And then finally, if you've got a bar, which we won't do today, but then down the line, if you wanted to incorporate your sort of like slightly more advanced stuff, you can get a small weight, take that position there, take this position here, and then go up and down, and you can see that I have to make some maneuvers. Yeah. But that's quite a nice movement there. If you can do that without the arms dropping, it's quite a sort of a good full body movement. Okay. We need to now look at handstands. Yeah. Okay. So what does a handstand look like to you at the moment?
I kind of arch my back. I stay there for like a few seconds, and then I'll either fall forward or I'll fall backwards.
Okay, so if I was to ask you to handstand, you would be safe doing a handstand, but you would just fall into different angles, but you're used to doing that sort of stuff for dancing. Cool, so I'm going to ask for a handstand, but I wouldn't if someone can't handstand. Okay, it's only because you can and you know how to fall, so just to be clear, right. Okay, cool. And let's do that just because of practice. If you can do that maybe 2 more times. Okay, and
hold it for like a few seconds. Like it's not
no, this is perfect, right? Because it's more your approach that we're sort of interested in at this point. Okay, so 1 more. Okay, cool. Optimally, you would be able to approach a handstand from a rotational plane, from the side, or from the front, or from the back. So to me, a handstand is, well, let's say that if I do a handstand like this, you can see that I could tuck my head in, but I don't really like doing that. Now you can see the leg movement will pull me down a little bit. On a good day, I might hold that for a little bit longer. But optimally, we want to be able to approach that handstand from different angles, so that when we move to the side, we actually are familiar with weight going here, weight going there, weight going forwards, backwards, and rotation as well. So in theory, we might want to be able to do, say, from a crouch position, we might want to sort of cartwheel into a handstand like that.
Oh my God.
And then come back down again. And now this arm is always worse than the other one, so you'll see that this one's going to look terrible. And then you can see I don't have the control. So what we're trying to aim for here is not just handstands, but we want cartwheels as well. Okay, so what I need to see in a second is what your equivalent is of a cartwheel. So we need to see something like this. Okay, and then my bad side, something like that. Okay? Okay. So whatever your version is, and you can do that from a standing position as well. Yeah. Okay?
My cartwheels are okay, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm asking. Yeah, yours are probably great. Wonderful. Same thing on the other side.
That's my
amazing. Okay, so I need to see your slowest cartwheel.
Okay.
Okay? From whatever position you want. Yeah. Brilliant. And the other side. Okay, so one side's super fast, just like mine. Well, yours is obviously better than mine. Okay, same again. Very slow one way, very slow the other. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we've got one about twice the speed as the other.
Yeah.
What I want to see one more time is, imagine going so slow on your first one that you would stall in the middle.
Okay.
So that's definitely slowed it down.
Yeah.
Okay, now, let's see what you got. And that's definitely slowed that one down as well. If you just cue yourself in different ways, as a dancer, you don't necessarily want to be slow, you want to be quite quick. But we also know that today is about your static strength. So even though sport specific, you know, maybe someone would say, oh, why are you trying to slow this dancer down? Well, the mission is to actually, we need to not just slow you down, but we need to bring you to a complete stop.
Yeah.
So we're cueing sort of like that idea, and immediately what we got was, I said go slow, and then it slowed down a bit. But when I said stall in the middle,
yeah,
that really brought it down quite a lot. Even the faster one started to look a bit slower.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was side to side. Rotation we're not going to worry about, but we're going to use a wall, okay, and we're going to do some tests now. When you go into a handstand, your problem is that you're going up and then coming down, or you're going up and then going too far. Okay, so what we really need to do is like unburden the mind of like having to think about falling, and so we need to kind of get used to going like this. So you're tapping the wall. Okay? So that way I'm always holding the position, a bit like the pistol squats. I'm normalizing the handstand position. Okay? So it's all training the brain. My brain knows, okay, the shoulders feel like this, the arms feel like that, the wrists feel like this, the torso feels like this, and my legs feel like that. And then the more familiar that becomes, the better. So this wall, if I lean on it, at this point, it's not going to help you very much. But if you're tapping your heel like this, you're doing 99%, and it's just that little bit. Every time you're falling, you're staying in position. So your mission is to do something roughly like what I did. Excellent. Cool. So slightly bias yourself towards the wall, because if you're going towards the wall, you'll stay in position. But keep on going. Excellent. Good. So you can see that at the moment, there's actually a really easy win here, because I'm going to basically start a timer from now. Actually, there's a timer on the camera anyway. Now, I want you to make sure that you don't come down unless, for two reasons. First of all, if your wrists and hands, arms, shoulders are hurting because they're like really tired, or if you feel too much pressure in your head and stuff like that. But literally what that means is you're going to be heavily biased towards the wall. Good. Okay, so good. Right, that's okay, because it's not exactly like we're doing a dumbbell, you know, bicep curl. It's difficult. Okay, let's go again. Good. Hold position. Hold right there. Okay. Cool. Don't do anything just yet. Just keep it exactly as it is. Right. So what I want you to do is the wall is being touched with one of the feet. So I want you to bring your other foot away, straight over the body. Okay. Good. Hold position. And then straighten the legs. Good. Okay, cool. We're going to now change it so that one leg has a job, the other leg has another job. So in this case, we're going to go up like this. It's one leg's job to touch the wall. It's the other leg to be sort of halfway / slightly in front. Okay, so this is the position, and then it's tap with one leg. Okay? Then when you're ready to come down, yours will look better than mine, but basically one leg's job is to go down, the other leg is to stay up as high as possible. Okay? Good. Excellent. Now, that's excellent. Hold position. Don't come off the wall yet. Keep in this nice safe position. Keep holding the position and then just breathe. Good. Nice. Okay, good work. Right, okay, so how much fatigue are you getting from the arms?
Not too much.
Okay. Go into that position once again. There. Now you can feel how your center of mass is slightly shifting. So I want you to start very slightly tapping the wall on the foot. Yeah. And then pull the other foot away from the wall more to off center. Hold position. Hold position. There we go. We're sort of giving you an understanding of the approach. So we've spent time with the legs sort of split from one on the wall, one down here, and that's going to now give us the ability to slow down the movement as well. Because you're used to doing everything kind of like dancer style, so you're like, and then maximum like explosion, but we need to just calm the body. So I need you to, and then just release tension and go into it with a strength, with strength and, you know, form, but not with any explosivity. So we're going to really go into it like this. And then we're trying to get that minimal contact. There's no one part of it that's particularly sort of like fast. Good. So very low contact with the wall there. And then pull that other leg slightly further away. Good. At the moment, you have a natural instinct to drop your leg, which most people would just screw that up. But because you're a dancer, you're obviously able to use it and still connect with the wall. But I want you to keep the legs straight at all costs. All right. So the last thing that you need to do with these is there's another element to it which we haven't sort of discussed. But if you look at my hips now, like that. But what we have was this. Yeah. Because you're hypermobile. Okay. So we've taught you how to use your legs, but the hips are still here. So now we need to change the hip position. Okay, now you see I don't have to have the legs so far down here to get my center of mass off the wall. Bring this leg in a bit. Good. Now bring the hips away from the wall a bit more. That's actually closer. Everything upside down makes less sense. Yeah, so use this leg to push your hips away from the wall. Good. So I'm going to sort of like say to raise upwards. There. Did you feel that movement there? Yeah. Do that again. There we go. Good. Tilt your hips backwards. Opposite direction. There. That's what you're doing in the handstand. Drive them forwards and straighten your knees. Good. And then release that tension again. Just relax. Tilt the hips backwards. So make an arch in the back. There we go. And then drive the hips forwards. And then there. That's the movement you need to do whilst upside down. Okay. Excellent. Good. So you're kind of almost doing a hip thrust with that hip. So drive that a bit more. Good. All right. Now just start tapping the wall. Good. Cool, keep the legs straight at all costs. So don't bend the leg. There we go, perfect. Nice. Okay, good. So that was good because you obviously you didn't bend the leg on that one. Okay, that's what we need. Yeah. So that's the ideal situation. If every time you lose a bit of balance, if your leg just bends, you're going to come down straight away. Whereas ideally we want you to be able to move the feet around a little bit and then as your balance shifts to kind of recover. Now what I want you to do is test those cartwheels again. Okay, because we spent a lot of time in the center position just there. All right, now we're just going to see if there's any immediate effects. We want it to be so slow that it's not powerful enough to actually reach the other end. So it should be like that. I'll do another one because it's hard for me to, I'm not used to doing them from standing up. So basically I'm going to put in just enough power to get to the middle, but not enough to tilt me over. So I'm going to go. Yeah. Very, very minimal. Okay. Very nice. Right, there we go. So, very good. Obviously, we've got the natural instinct to bend the legs immediately. So if you don't bend the legs, what will happen is you will still go down, but you'll fall much slower. Whereas when the legs bend, it's quite a lot more, for you it's not that dramatic, so you're used to it. But basically, try that again. Keep the legs straight and just spin and naturally gravitate towards whichever direction your body's going in. Okay, go again. Much better. That was only one leg though, the other leg was straight. So same again, just do one more, but this is good because you've now slowed it right down. You're actually pausing in the middle. Okay, so one more time. Very nice. Right, good. So that's perfect because now you've got both legs straight. There's a lot more recovery there. Right, let's see the other side. This is going to be obviously a lot quicker. So this one you need to go so slow that it's almost nothing. Like the first one you should almost not even get to the halfway point. Okay, so it should look like absolutely nothing. Cool, good. That's exactly right, because I've taken, yeah, so you're putting in about you're putting in like, what, 10% of what you would usually put in. So what it is, imagine a car that's never driven in first gear.
Okay.
And we're trying to basically put you in first gear for the first time, usually always on like the motorway.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to go very slow. So it's not going to look good or feel good, but it's going to open up a new level of function. Let's go one more time, okay? Excellent, good. So suddenly again, that's looking like it's starting to pause in the middle. Just try this again. Very nice. Can you see how the air time there in the center, there's actually the time there for you to start figuring out how to get that balance. Now do the same thing on the other side. Excellent. Okay, so that looks like the other one did now at the beginning. So that's actually very slow. That's like actually in a good way. That's like quite kind of peaceful. Now what we're going to do is you're going to be without the wall, but with me just kind of holding the position. All right, so what we're going to do first of all is if you go into a handstand from here, and I'm going to be the wall. Okay. Your mission is to basically follow my guidance as best you can, and then your mission is to not bend the legs.
Yeah.
That's the main mission. Okay. Yeah. Not that much going to happen. You might kick me in the face, but you know, other than that, it's fine. So, all right. So a very nice slow handstand, and you're almost imagining there's not anyone here, but I'm going to help. Okay. All right. Cool. No, that was good, because obviously that was, you're trying to get the right amount of power. If you went straight over, I'd be like, you know, you're actually trying to get it right here now. So that's a good sign. Okay. Good. Okay. Alright, so getting quite a lot of resistance, so just keep on doing your thing. Okay, a bit less resistance now. And I think you're definitely close to your center now. There. So that's quite nice. So this is good. You've got like a nice center, so we'll give it a few more seconds. And bring it down. Excellent. Good. Can you kind of feel a little bit, are you getting a bit more familiar with like the sort of how the shoulders are and what position
and
is?
my core as well. Like I'm like,
yeah. So you've got the kind of idea of like my core can't just be like this anymore. Okay, so on that one there was quite a lot of resistance there for a bit, and then you found your center, and then I started to sort of do the kind of tennis thing where I'm sort of bit of this, bit of that, but it's like ping pong basically. That's kind of like how to think about it in terms of how much force there is. If you feel my hand pressing against your leg, then that's obviously where your force is going too far. So then try and think about how you're going to take the force in the opposite direction. Good, so this is much quicker now. So we've got immediately into sort of a very nice central position. Good, and this is much more balanced. And this really is like a ping pong thing now. So I'm basically just tapping the legs. Good, excellent. Right, good, that's much better. Okay, so obviously on that one, what I'm doing is I'm literally, you can probably feel it, but you're obviously distracted by the fact that you have to do a handstand. But that one, by the end I was literally just like this, so it was more in the center. I was tapping here, tapping there.
I was feeling it, and then I went, and then I was like, right, okay, go back. So you kind of understand the position now. Alright, how are the hands and everything feeling? Fine.
Okay, good. What about the head?
I'm fine.
Okay, good. Right, so, good. Keep the legs straight. So this is the best one yet, by far. And bring it down. Excellent. Okay, so I don't know if you could tell on that one, but basically probably the most useful thing I've done today is obviously telling you to slow down was one, because now you've got time to coordinate the movement. But the other thing was that I've told you to stop bending your legs. Every time you're moving out of the ideal position, I can see the leg still wants to bend. Which means that you never get a chance to recover. You know, it's like someone about to do a squat, you're like, no, that's wrong. It's like, okay, give me a second, you're like, no. And then it's like, so you're never, what you need to do is do it wrong, but not perfectly, and then eventually you'll figure it all out. So this is actually, by doing them like this now, and what you can do as well is, to mimic what we're doing here, what you can do is like go towards the wall, but not too close to the wall. So you just move away from it a bit. So it's kind of there if you need it, but you get a sense that you can make a mistake and pull back again. And that is now a proper handstand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these should get better. Right, there we go. So last one. Very good recoveries, nice. Okay, good. So yeah, your ability to recover is much better. So that means that rather than there being like one position that you can hold, it's like there's this position is good, and then if you move here, you can move back in. If you move here, you can move back again. Okay, all right. One slow cartwheel. Yeah. Amazing. Right, very good. Right, so that's like very controlled, and then we can turn that into whatever we need to. Okay, same thing on the other side. That's really good. I mean, that's excellent, because by being on one foot, it means that your momentum was so, like, it's just fine-tuning. You could basically go into a split leg handstand from that position with a little bit more training. Okay, so now to prove that we haven't slowed you down, if you can just do one cartwheel with a bit more speed. Good, and then that's a natural one, and again. Cool, no problems there. Right, okay, so then if you can just do the pistol squat test. So one pistol squat facing that way on both legs, and then one with the overhead position. Okay. Good, no problems there. Okay, cool, so it looks pretty chilled out, and then good, and one more time. Perfect. Okay, cool. Right, there we go. Okay, so that was the sort of focus of the session. It was only 2 movements. So first of all, just give me a bit of feedback. Like, how did the pistol squats feel?
So much better. Like, whenever I did them initially, it was always like oh, I get back up, who knows, sort of thing. Whereas even just like the adjustment of like the weight, like, made so much more sense. I was like, oh my god, I never thought of that before. Like, I would always just go and I'd be over here and fall.
Yeah, so you felt like you were just like, so now you're thinking about the body as like different segments. Yeah, so it's a bit like a structure that you'll build, like a, you know, building blocks or whatever. Yeah. Okay, so now you feel like you know how to position your body, basically.
Yeah, definitely. And even like when we were holding it, I was like, if I can hold it, then I can get back up, sort of thing. Like, if I can stay down here comfortably, I'll know, cool. I'll be able, I've got the strength to stay there and get back up, sort of thing.
Brilliant.
So that was much better.
Nice, okay. And then obviously when you're doing those, just make sure you go into that position that's challenging and then just breathe through it. Keep in mind, if anyone does this yourselves at home, your quadriceps will likely cramp up if you haven't trained them. Okay, but Lauren's a very kind of advanced, like, dancer. Yeah. So her legs, just to be clear, your legs will cramp if you're
feeling it a bit.
Yeah. So even a dancer feels like when that leg's in the straight position, it'll take time for your quads to contract normally. So just to make that clear. Okay, and then with regards to the handstand, so that's been something you've been trying to do for a while as well.
Yeah, like, I've never been in control of handstands. Whenever I've gone into handstand, it's like, all right, how long will I be here this time? Like, it's never been like, I'm going to hold this.
Right.
And even just those drills there, that was so much better. Like, I feel a lot more stable in it. Like, even when we did that last one there, I was like, oh, I'm not needing any help for this bit, and then I'd fall asleep a bit, and then I'd need a bit of guidance. But it was so much, I feel a lot stronger in my handstand, and I feel like with just doing that more, I'll be able to hold it soon.
Brilliant, yeah. So the gist of it from my perspective is that you're saying your core didn't feel like it was strong enough.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, is that the cord never had a chance to become strong because there was too much velocity, and every time the body was just about to be tested, the legs would drop into a, because your athleticism saves you, but also is a burden, because as soon as you're about to kind of like go into a bad position, rather than learning how to recover like from the position, it was like the legs are like, don't worry, we're here to save the day again. And then suddenly you never get the chance to kind of strengthen the position. So with your handstands, all you have to do is spend as much time as possible in that sort of unsupported position. But then your approach has to be the polar opposite to quite a lot of the movements in dance. And then you can speed it up afterwards, but you should be able to move very slowly into those positions. Then you have a chance to find the balance point. obviously you have to go and practice that stuff. And then maybe what we'll do is we'll come back to it and then see what the results are like in a few weeks or something like that.
Amazing,
and then that'll be really good. So cool. All right, thanks Lauren.
Thank you.
Thanks guys. So that was 2 movements, but 2 advanced movements, even for someone like Lauren who's a really good dancer. So you can see that like just using body weight and no equipment, we've done quite a lot of pretty advanced training. So cool. All right. Nice.
Thanks.
Sweet.